So it's still Easter weekend, and with today being Easter, I couldn't resist digging a little deeper into the Gospels and reading a passage from the Gospel of Luke that specifically talks about the resurrected Christ and his appearance to his disciples that first day. So he had appeared on the road to Emmaus to two of the disciples, and then they had hurried back to Jerusalem to tell everybody. And then here's what happened. So Luke chapter 24, verses 35, and it's quite a chunk. And I won't talk about it a lot, but just listen. Listen to this amazing account. Then the two from Emmaus told their story of how Jesus had appeared to them as they were walking along the road, and how they had recognized him when he was breaking the bread. And just as they were telling about it, Jesus himself was suddenly standing there among them. "Peace be with you," he said. But the whole group was startled and frightened, thinking they were seeing a ghost. They still didn't believe. "Why are you frightened?" he asked. "Why are your hearts filled with doubt? Look at my hands. Look at my feet. You can see that it's really me. Touch me and make sure that I am not a ghost, because ghosts don't have bodies, as you see that I do." As he spoke, he showed them his hands and his feet. And remember, his hands and his feet bore the marks from the cross. Verse 41. Still, they stood there in disbelief, filled with joy and wonder. Then he asked them, "Do you have anything to eat?" They gave him a piece of broiled fish, and he ate it as they watched, because ghosts can't eat either. Verse 44. Then he said, "When I was with you before, I told you that everything written about me in the law of Moses and the prophets and in the Psalms must be fulfilled." Then he opened their minds to understand the scriptures. And he said, yes, it was written long ago that the Messiah would suffer and die and rise from the dead on the third day. It was also written that this message would be proclaimed in the authority of his name to all the nations, beginning in Jerusalem. There is forgiveness of sins for all who repent. It's the best news ever. And so we need to not just believe it. We need to believe it first, but we need to share it. We need to proclaim it. And we need to realize that just like the disciples, when they first saw the risen Christ, were afraid and were filled with doubt. God understands when we're afraid and filled with doubt. But he also says, "You know it's me." And he also reassures us that the whole Bible, Old Testament and New Testament, all of it looked forward to what Jesus would do on the cross, that he would die, and that he would be raised on the third day. So believe. And it says that there's forgiveness of sins for all who repent. So repent means turning away from not believing and turning towards God. So happy Easter. He is risen. He is risen indeed. We didn't get to go to church this morning, but we listened to the sermon. We got to watch church. And I look forward to being back in church, Lord willing, next Sunday. But even if we couldn't have been there, it was still exciting just to hear a resurrection sermon. So please realize today, this is Easter. Jesus rose from the dead on this day. And the disciples were filled with joy and wonder. And so should we be.